Today, let's talk about the foods that I used to eat and binge on when I was at my highest weight of 320 pounds. Hey folks, my name's Allie. Let's get started. So yes, let's talk about what I used to eat and binge on when I was very overweight and unhealthy. So this is not a specific keto video, but I think I want to illustrate, how bad things can get without maybe even you realizing how bad things are. So I was overweight all my life, and then I became an obese adult, and I was an obese kid too. Like almost 200 pounds by like third grade's not normal. So yeah, an obese kid as well. But things got really bad when I was about 23, 24. Just some things were going on. So let me set the stage for you of why I was in this cycle of binging and overeating so much. I was not in a good place. I was living alone in a completely different part of the country than all my family and friends were in. And I had moved because a significant other lived where I had moved to, but it was still technically a long distance relationship. He lived in Canada and I lived in upstate New York, so I literally crossed the border, twice every weekend to go see him. I was in this tiny, tiny studio apartment. It was just filled with all of my clothes and school books and just things I had accumulated over 6 years. So I felt really cramped in and just unhappy with my living space. Because I had moved away from all my family and friends, during my junior year of college, I didn't get that chance to meet a whole lot of new people on campus at my new university. So I was pretty lonely. I didn't have any friends where I lived in upstate New York. So I was lonely. And when I was 24, my parents decided that they were going to divorce. And it wasn't that great. It was a very nasty divorce. And, it really kind of like divided a whole lot of the family. A few months later, my mom was diagnosed with stage 3B colon cancer, which was just awful. She couldn't work. She was worried about losing her house. And because she couldn't work, she was worried about her health insurance and things like that. And of course, the chemo just was rough for her to go through. And I think she was feeling really lonely. And I felt bad about that because, again, I was across the country. And my significant other at the time was going through his own health problems. And that was just also a big stress that I had in my life. I was not happy. I was in a really dark place there for at least 2 years. I mean, I had always been uncomfortable with my weight and how I felt and, my health issues related to my weight. But that was just the worst year or two of my life. So I'm telling you this because I used food as a way to make myself temporarily happy day by day, but that food didn't fix the issues. So let's run down what I would eat pretty much almost every day. If I wasn't cooking at home, I was eating fast food. And let me kind of tell you how I binged. So I'm just going off of my own memory of that point in time in my life. I obviously was not logging anything. I wasn't worried about weight gain. I mean, I was, I guess, but I just didn't care. So I don't have like a food log or journal to go back on, but this is just what I remember. So I lived in this small town in upstate New York, and I frequented a lot of the fast food joints. We had Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell. Those are the ones that I really went to the most. And then there was like a Chinese buffet and like pizza delivery places. So I kind of want to go by meal and then by restaurant of what I used to eat. I would usually get breakfast from McDonald's or Burger King. So for McDonald's, I would get maybe 2 to 3 sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit combos, and those all came with the hash browns. And I get Diet Coke or like a really creamy, sugary, like iced coffee. And then I'd add on maybe 3 or 4 extra hash browns. So just from, those breakfasts, I'm sure I had already overgone on my daily amount of calories for a normal person. And let me just say, I would get the meals because you got multiple drinks, and I felt less embarrassed if people thought that I was getting all this food for multiple people. But it wasn't for multiple people. It was for me. It was all for me. Oh. It's kind of hard to talk about this, but I'm just sharing, So my lunch/dinner, because I was in classes in the middle part of the day, would usually happen anywhere between 3 p.m. and like 5 or 6 p.m., just whenever I was able to go get food. So really most of the time, I think I ate one big meal, but it was a big meal and it was highly caloric, highly carby, and highly fatty. So from McDonald's, when they had those good deals running on like the 20-piece chicken McNuggets, I'd get one or two of those with all the dipping sugary sauces. If I did just chicken nuggets, I get two of those with a couple sides of fries and maybe a couple Diet Cokes. Or I would get two Big Mac meals and then get a side of maybe 10 or 20 chicken nuggets with a couple Diet Cokes and all the fries and stuff. And then for dessert from McDonald's, I would loved their little apple pies. Sometimes I get a milkshake, you know, it just depends. But usually it was the apple pies because they were so cheap. I think they were like $2 for $1 back in the day. From Burger King, especially when I was in nursing school, there was this point in time when they had these buffalo chicken fingers. And I really like those. So I get two of those meals. Maybe add in $1 cheeseburger or two for the ride home so I could snack while I'm thinking about these chicken fingers on the way home. And, you know, just it's so messed up. I would eat on the way home, and because I wanted to get that full feeling when I ate the actual meal. I'm addicted to that full stomach feeling. I still am, you know, I struggle with that. But, you know, at least I can keep things under control now. I used to get these coupons in the mail. It was like, you know, 2 for 1 Whoppers or 2 for 1 chicken sandwiches. So I'd use the crap out of those and I'd go get like 3 or 4 burgers, you know, if that's what I was eating instead of the chicken fingers. And then I loved that Hershey's chocolate pie that they had. Oh my gosh. The Burger King Hershey's chocolate pie. I miss that a lot, actually. If I went to Wendy's, it was usually more like a la carte. I wouldn't get like a meal like with fries and a drink. So from Wendy's, I would get maybe a couple little cheeseburgers, maybe 3 or 4 of their spicy chicken nuggets, like the 6-piece, I believe. I'd get a loaded baked potato, maybe a side Caesar salad, and then a cup of chili. So I'd get all of that for one meal. On my favorite nights, I'd go to Taco Bell, and I would load up on some carbs, let me tell y'all. I would get the grilled stuffed chicken burrito. I would get a Nachos Bel Grande. I would also get a couple tacos, just to have as like a side, right? A side of tacos. And then for the ride home, I would get 2 bean burritos. I have been eating bean burritos from Taco Bell ever since I was, 4, basically. I love me some Taco Bell bean burritos. Haven't had one though in 5 years, so. And again, those bean burritos were for on the way home as I thought about that grilled stuffed chicken burrito and those Nachos Bel Grande. And Taco Bell had these like empanadas, and so they were good. I'd get 1 or 2 of those as a dessert from Taco Bell. Now, if I was staying in and I didn't want to go out, I would order something. So we had like this little local pizza joint. I didn't get pizza from them, but what I would get is this huge Philly cheesesteak sandwich, probably, that big, loaded up with everything, mayo, cheese, peppers, mustard, all the good stuff, onions. And as a side, I'd get maybe 12 or 15 chicken wings. And then as a dessert with that, they had these little cheesecake slices you could order. So I'd eat all that as a meal. If I were going to get pizza, there was a Kmart where I was living, and so they had a Little Caesars in there. So, they have like the large pizza for $5. So I go get 2, maybe some breadsticks, and I'd take that home and I'd eat that in a night. Or if I was ordering Papa John's, I either get 2 large pizzas, maybe with the side of breadsticks, or I would do one of their bread pasta bowls with a pizza. And again, like maybe the next morning I'd have 3 slices left from the pizza, but everything else was done. Oh, and from Papa John's or whatever, I'd get like the dessert, like cinnamon breadstick things. I believe that they had those. And a 2-liter of soda. It may not have been diet. Sometimes I just get the regular. There was this point in time when Netflix had Doctor Who and Downton Abbey, and I don't know if they still do, but like I remember eating that stupid pizza, just binge watching. I was binging on pizza and binge watching Doctor Who and Downton Abbey there for like this point in time in my life. It's so vivid. I just remember sitting on my bed because I was in this little studio apartment, didn't have a table, didn't have anything, sit on my bed, watch the TV from my laptop, and just shoving pizza and pasta bowl down my face. Oh God. The things you remember, geez. There was this Chinese buffet, and because I didn't have any friends, I think I went with one girl I had a class with like once. But because I didn't really have friends, I would just go and do like a buffet to go. And so they'd give you a takeout box and you just load it up and you pay like, I don't know, $9 and you're good to go. So I'd load up my little takeout box. I mean, I would get noodles and General Tso and sesame chicken and beef and broccoli and crab wontons, and I get like 3 egg rolls. And they didn't have like drinks and cups to go, so I would get 2 of these, like, you know, the little 20-ounce bottles of soda. That was one of my favorites. I loved taking out food from that Chinese buffet. And then, so if I wasn't gonna like go get a dessert from a restaurant, what I would do, especially on bingey nights, is I would go to the good old Rite Aid and I would pick up all the desserts. So anything from like, you know, the chewy Chips Ahoy cookies to Oreos to the Twizzlers that you remember you peel them and like they come off in little strings. Oh yeah, I could eat a whole bag of those in like 30 minutes. Also like the bag of mini Snickers. Oh yeah, those would be gone in a night, no problem, after eating all that food. So that was my diet from Sunday night to Friday morning, basically. So, and I say that because my SO at the time lived in Canada, so I'd go see him on the weekends. Now, he was a bartender, which means that, you know, I got to partake for free a lot of the time. And so I was just drinking these empty calories. I probably drank a good 1,000 to 2,000 calories on any weekend just on, you know, drinks. And so when I stayed with him, we'd do a lot of takeout or we'd go out to eat. But the takeout, one of my favorites was this Indian restaurant. And so, you know, we'd pick it up. But sometimes he'd get off work and he'd go pick it up. And because I knew I wanted that full feeling, because that's just one of my issues, what I would do is I would binge on toast, butter toast with jam. So I'd have about 4 slices of toast, butter it up, spread the jam all over, and just shove it down my gullet. I've been watching a lot of The Office before he came back with the actual dinner from the Indian restaurant. And so usually we get, I would get a chicken tikka masala. He'd probably get like a lamb vindaloo. We'd share a rice. We'd get the raita. We'd get some onion bhajis, you know, some pita bread. And because he didn't always eat a lot, just around dinner time, I would eat his food. So I ate basically all that by myself. For breakfast, sometimes, you know, if you had a little too much fun the night before and you go out and you're looking for something to make you feel better, one of the things that a friend kind of came up with was this thing called The Thing, and it was basically a mashed potato poutine. And if you don't know what a poutine is, it's really good. It's a Canadian French fry and cheese and gravy dish. Anyway, so it was mashed potatoes, a big bowl of mashed potatoes loaded with gravy and curry sauce and sometimes pulled pork and cheese curds. Oh man, and I could down that thing in like 5 minutes, this big bowl of mashed potatoes. So that was basically my life, how I lived. I loved a good full stomach. I loved just all the tasty food. I honestly do not know how I afforded any of that because I was a broke college student for a long time. Don't know how that happened. I was so unhappy with a lot of things. Like I said, the way that I looked, the way that I felt, the family situations that I had going on. I couldn't be next to my fiance at the time, my ex-boyfriend at the time. So I was in a low spot and food was there to help me feel better temporarily. A commenter one time left this quote that she had heard from another weight loss guru expert. And it was something along the lines of, and I'm going to botch it up, I'm sorry. If the problem isn't about food, then food's not going to solve the problem. And that is so true. All of the issues going on in my life really weren't, you know, related to food in any way, except for myself being overweight. But again, that led to actual emotional issues. And, you know, my family problems weren't related to food, but I was using food almost like a drug just to get this temporary sensation of feeling good, of tasting it, of having a full stomach, of, you know, eating a lot and then just wanting to go to sleep. So that was a routine for me. And that's how I, you know, tried to patch up my problems. So as I sit here and like list all these foods, it's embarrassing, but whatever. Food addiction is not about food. It's about you. It's about all of the things that you have going on internally, and you have to figure out why those things are happening and how to fix them in other ways besides using food. So those are my binges and what I ate. Even now on keto, Not so much while I was losing, but in maintenance mode, I did have this period of binging, you know, maybe once every couple weeks. And because keto was so restrictive, I was binging on things like nuts and low carb ice cream. So even though I was still having this issue of wanting a full stomach and having this emotional attachment to food, because I'm on keto, it just never got that bad. And honestly, because I've been like rearranging things in my life and just trying to focus on, you know, like my social life more and just my personal life more, I haven't been binging. I haven't had a sweet in like 6 months. So, you know, you just got to figure out why you're binging and what's going on and try and focus that energy in other ways. And it's easier said than done. I mean, it has been a process. 5 years. And I've just recently in the past few months stopped binging and in the past few months stopped craving sweets. So whatever any expert or guru tells you, it's going to be different for everybody. You know, some people can just go cold turkey on everything, but it's taken me 5 years to get where I am now, where I feel like I am pretty much in control of whatever I do that pertains to my diet. And I wanted to share this particular set of experiences with you because I was there. I thought nothing was ever going to change. But you just have to make that decision one day. You pick a day and you say, I'm going to do something different, whether it's keto or whatever you need to change. You just have to pick a day and you have to really give it a good, honest try. For so many people, going restrictive low carb works because they just know that they're not going to have those foods in their life. And that's why I think it works so well for me. Like potatoes, not an issue because I know that I can't have them. You know, bread, I can't have it. So I'm not even going to try and incorporate it into my life. But again, you got to find what works for you. So this isn't specifically a ketogenic video, but just about, you know, trying to overcome some internal food demons that a lot of people have going on. Well, folks, that's about it for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video and I hope that you found my binging, you know, food list interesting at least. But please do let me know, you know, what did you binge on? What do you binge on? How do you feel when you binge? Like, what are you trying to fix with this food in your life? Let me know. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been in the process of moving. Still technically kind of am, but I feel like I'm pretty settled in. So yeah, I'm just trying to find a good filming location. I couldn't do it in front of the window because the lighting was really off. So yeah. So we're in front of my vanity. I hope everybody's, you know, not going stir crazy being inside the house all the time. At least, you know, my roommate has this awesome deck, so I could sit out there for like hours at a time because it's really nice right now, springtime. So it's not too bad at the moment, but I do miss family and friends and getting to see and be social with other people. So let me know how you're doing with all of that as well. If you enjoyed the video, please do not forget to like and subscribe. That would help me out so much. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, I will link all of that down below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Allie. Have a good one. Bye.